the next round of the BookTube prize has been announced. I was overall pretty happy with the results of the first round. I was judging in nonfiction, and all those videos are in a playlist titled BookTube Prize Judge 2020 if you're interested in watching them. But the only book that I was disappointed that didn't go through was my second choice, which was The Ungrateful Refugee. And I think yeah, I think it was better than The Ice at the End of the World, but all the other judges did not agree, apparently. So for round 2, I'm judging in fiction, and I have group C. And so the books for this section is A Woman Is No Man by Etaf Rum, The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead, Red at Bone by Jacqueline Wilson, Queenie by Candace Carty Williams, The Beekeeper of Aleppo by Christy Lefteri. I wrote it down kind of in a bad way. And Olive Again by Elizabeth Strout. So overall, as a list, I'm pretty happy with that. I was really worried I was going to get Ducks, Newburyport, which I really don't want to read. So I'm hoping it gets knocked out this next round. But I have to say that I did not vote for Olive Again by Elizabeth Strout. And the reason I didn't vote for it is because it's a sequel. And I have not read, I think, the original, which is called Olive Kitteridge. I've read My Name is Lucy Barton by Elizabeth Strout. I listened to that on audio and I really enjoyed it. But it's so weird to have sequels in a judging, because I'm not going to go and read Olive Kitteridge, because this isn't about my impression of the book as a sequel to the first one. This is about this book standing on its own for one of the best books of 2019. So I'm going to read it having not read the first one, and if it can't stand up, then it's just going to be at the bottom of my list. I feel like that's the only objective way to do this. I'm not sure if everyone else in this group, or who had Olive Again previously, had already read Olive Kitteridge, or if they like read it on purpose because they knew they had to read Olive Again. But I just feel like that's giving the book an unfair advantage, because if Olive Kitteridge is a better book than Olive Again, all your impressions from that original book are going to influence your opinion of the second book. And so I don't want that to happen. And so I'm not going to read it. And we'll see how that goes. Getting my hands on these books for this round is way more challenging to me than it was for round 1. Obviously, we are in the middle of social distancing for COVID-19 around the world in many cases, and our library systems have shut down, so we're only being able to access digital downloads. All of these books, except for one, were available at my library, and that was The Beekeeper of Aleppo. So I ordered that, and it's on its way in hard copy. Apparently other people are having a hard time finding it in the US, but it was available on Indigo here in Canada, so I was able to get it. So that one's coming. My worry with putting ebooks and audiobooks on hold, which is what I have done for all the other books, is that I'm not gonna get them quick enough so that I'm reading like a crazy person at the end of May. B, that I'm gonna have to read multiple books at the same time. And I think with fiction, that probably won't be as difficult as I found it with nonfiction. I am able to read multiple fiction books, and they don't usually influence each other, although my enjoyment can definitely be affected one way or the other. If I'm really enjoying another book, the other book kind of pales in comparison, but I'm judging them anyway, right? So in this case, they're being judged against each other. So it's okay if I'm like, no, this one just isn't as good as this one, because it's just gonna help me with my rankings. So right now, I did purchase the ebook of Queenie, and I've begun reading that one. and whichever audiobook comes up first and it looks like it's going to be Olive Again, I will start listening to that right away, because you only get 21 days with audiobooks, and I'm not sure how long that book is. I'm assuming it's about 350 pages, so I'm gonna need to start reading it or listening to it right away. And I'm not listening to any other audiobook right now. I'm waiting for that to come in, although that might change, I'm not sure. So in terms of books that I voted for that are on this list, I believe I voted for The Nickel Boys and Red at Bone and Queenie. I don't have the list in front of me right now, so I'm not sure. I'm interested in all of these books, other than, again, Olive Again, just because I just don't want to read a sequel when I haven't read the first one. So far I am about 3 chapters into Queenie, and I know it's also a Women's Prize long list book, and so is Red at Bone, so that's fun that I'm also getting to read some another prize lists offerings. So that is my update for BookTube Prize. If we get to, I'm going to have a cutoff point for myself the same way I did in the round 1 in terms of getting books at a certain pace. If I do not have at least 2 more books off of hold that I can be reading by mid-April, I will purchase another one as soon as I'm done Queenie. I'm reluctant to purchase them on ebook format, even though that's the most affordable way, because then I can't resell them at my my consignment bookstore if I don't like them and want to keep them. So yeah, I will most likely order them in hard copy, but again, that takes a bit longer to get because you know, you have to have them shipped and whatnot. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get the timing right, but it is a bit tricky, and in this current climate, I wish I could just go to the library and grab them and bring them home. That would be my ideal. Yeah, so by the time you see this, maybe all of this will be over. I don't know. Anyway, talk to you again soon. Hi everybody. I wanted to check in for BookTube Prize, my first 2 reads. I'm not really sure what the third one is going to be. I did already check in a bit about Queenie, but I have put Queenie aside because I got A Woman Is No Man by Etaf Rum from the library and Olive Again by Elizabeth Strout from the library. And so in an effort to kind of try to keep these vlogs manageable, and also get these books read in an appropriate time frame, which, I mean, at this point, who knows if this is appropriate, but I'm just going to try to focus this vlog on the 2 books. So pause the ideas of Queenie and we're going to talk about Olive Again by Elizabeth Strout and A Woman Is No Man by Etaf Rum. Okay, I'm listening to Elizabeth Strout, or Olive Again, on audio. I listened to My Name is Lucy Barton a couple years ago, and it's the same narrator, Kimberly Farr, I think is her name, who is narrating Olive Again. So my impressions of Olive are completely being formed solely from Olive Again. And I would say I'm about a quarter of the way through. And it's fine, but I don't love it. And my problem with it is I'm finding it quite cliched, and this is kind of weird for me because I really liked My Name is Lucy Barton, and I didn't think that it was cliched. I really loved the way that Elizabeth Strout developed those relationships in that novel. And so I'm a little bit surprised that this book is feeling as cliched as it is. The cliches that I'm finding frustrating are the grumpy old people who made lots of mistakes and are still kind of fumbling through in a judgmental fashion, which for me right now is who Olive Kitteridge is. And I don't think I'm a super big fan of that character type. So her boyfriend Jack, is his name Jack? And then the other character that we've covered so far is Kaylee, who's a young teenager who is pulled into some strange, uncomfortable sexual encounter with a man. And I found that whole section extremely cringy, to quote my young sons. I found it super cliched that a young woman has to have her sexual awakening in view of a man in order to make it somehow be described as sexual awakening. And I think that's really lazy writing, and I think it is a denial of where sexuality is moving for women and men at this time. Okay, so I'm assuming that this book is supposed to be written right now. Like, it's supposed to be a book of 2019 or 2018, whenever she was writing it. And it's very dated to me. Like, the ideas in it, like at one point, Olive's daughter-in-law takes out her breast to breastfeed her child. And Olive is just like, traumatized by seeing a breast. And it's like, really? What year do you live in? Like, I mean, even if you're an old lady, lots of women breastfeed their children all over the place. And yeah, fine, these could be kind of small town colloquial views of things, but it's so dated, and it just demonstrates this lack of maturity in the characters that I find frustrating. I'm just not enjoying that. So I'm hoping the book's going to pull out some charm that's gonna get me past these little gripes that I have. And I know Elizabeth Strout is a great writer, and so I'm hoping that I get a gut punch from this, and that I really feel like these are not just little anecdotes from a small town, because I'm not really, I just don't understand how those can stand up to other novels that might be exploring different things. So anyway, that's my first impression of Olive again. A Woman is No Man. I'm really into. I like the structure. So we're following Isra from 1990s Palestine to Brooklyn. We're following Dea, who is her daughter, in 2008 New York. And we're also here and there hearing the perspective of the mother-in-law, grandmother, Farid. Definitely read books that have an Arab perspective in them before, an Arab and Islamic perspective. I would say this is one of the harsher examples that I've ever read, where there's like a really strong and like big thread of misogyny that's just like pushing through the whole story. And I mean, it's very confronting, and it's very it's heart-wrenching at times, because you're just like, you just don't want to believe that anyone, anywhere, during any time, under any religion or any culture, will be repressed to the level that these women are repressed and judged and abused, essentially. So it's difficult to follow that journey, and I'm very invested in finding out what happens and what happens to all these characters and how it all goes together. And there was a little bit of a twist just now. I'm about 200 pages in to a 400-page book. There's a little bit of a twist, which I kind of knew. I thought it was pretty obvious, but doesn't mean that it's not worthy of making. So that's where I am right now. 2 books on the go. I really want to get Olive Again finished as quickly as possible. It's not a very long audiobook. I think I have 8 hours left. No, less than that, probably 6 hours left. So I just got to kind of persevere. And I also want to get A Woman Is No Man done as quickly as I can, because I have put 2. So both the audio and the ebook of Red at Bone have come up at the library, and I've put my holds on pause. So I've given my space to the next person, and then I will be right after them, which will bring us to I think the earliest I could get those is about mid-April, and then I'm still on hold for the audio of the Nickel Boys as well. So I just want to get these 2 done as quick as I can so that I can be ready for the next 2 to come up. And then I think what I'll do is push Queenie and The Beekeeper of Aleppo till May. And then I can actually read some of my other books that I was really hoping to get to in April. Yeah, that's how it's going so far. Hi, everybody. Okay, so I finished my first BookTube Prize fiction read last night for round 2. And I finished A Woman Is No Man by Etaf Rum. Or Rum. This book was quite something. And I think, especially since I just read No Visible Bruises by Rachel Louise Snyder, which was in my nonfiction round, comparing it to this book, A Woman Is No Man, and the issues that the 2 books have that cross over each other was really, really interesting. But A Woman Is No Man is more of a microcosm of domestic abuse in a larger context, in a more specific context culturally. So, it doesn't fit in terms of, I think a lot of the statistical things that Rachel Louise Snyder was looking into in A Woman Is No Man did not really relate to immigrant families. As far as I could tell, I don't remember there being a lot of specific information about immigrant families. I think it was mostly, 3rd, 4th, 5th generation Americans that were being considered in her book. But A Woman Is No Man follows 3 generations. 2 of the generations were born in Palestine and 1 in the United States. And what it's talking about is the lineage of misogyny that is worked into a culture, and how that manifests itself, and how it holds the women in such a state of fear and shame. Shame was a big part of it, that they can't even break it. And even though they want to, even though they know that it's wrong, even though they know, and they come, or sometimes they come to a realization, and sometimes it takes someone else to push them. And So that's what this novel is about. And it was hard to read because of that subject matter. It was very difficult to be in the minds of women who had so much self-hatred that they believed they deserved to be beaten and degraded repeatedly. That was very difficult. The contrast between the cultures, between, Arab, Palestinian, Islamic culture versus, American culture, how little the women actually integrated into American culture because they believed that it was immoral, they believed it was going to ruin their reputations, was very interesting. And the kind of overall message of not running away from pain and something, when something's wrong, you don't run away from it, you confront it and you challenge it. I thought that was really a great message and moral. I was a little taken aback by the ending. It was very abrupt and an interesting choice, I think, by the author to end it in at a moment of hope as opposed to a moment of despair was a lovely gesture. I'm not sure it felt completely complete for me, so I did enjoy the book. I think that her writing style is, there's nothing lyrical about it or particularly beautiful about the prose, but it's clear and it's deep, and the characters have a good development, and they, you understand the characters' motivations, you understand why they're thinking what they're thinking, and that's always a really important thing for me. So in that way, I really enjoyed it. I cannot say where this will fall at all in the rankings. I have no idea because it's the first book I finished, and so I won't even give it a number right now. And I'm close to finishing Olive Again by Elizabeth Strout. I'm not feeling as into this one as I was with A Woman Is No Man. I'll probably save most of my commentary for the end of it, but it's just, there's a lot of things in it that are not resonating with me and are just feel a bit I can't even really articulate it right now. So I'm gonna finish that and then I will check in again. Hi everybody, wanted to check in for my last time in this vlog. Okay, I finished Olive Again by Elizabeth Strout on audio. And no, it was not for me. I liked the last part the best, the last section called Friend. I thought it had the most genuine feelings about Olive. This is my problem with the way the book went. I think that Elizabeth Strout should have written a book about Olive Kittredge and just about Olive Kittredge. The supplemental people from the town of Crosby, Maine were just, their stories they just made me sigh in aggravation so many times. There was so much adultery. Like, I think every single relationship practically in this book had one partner or both partners cheating on each other, which I felt was unrealistic. Like, not everybody cheats on each other. There was sensationalist kind of, things just said in these manners like suicide and just child abuse, sexual abuse, just like thrown out there in these very, I think it was supposed to be funny. I listened to one person reviewing the book who said that it was funny, that they found it super funny, and I was like, was I supposed to be laughing at these things? Because they don't make me laugh. Someone blurting out that their father committed suicide does not make me laugh. I did not laugh. So I don't feel that the delivery of this worked for me. I will definitely not read all of Kittredge because I believe that the structure of that book, it's called a novel, it's really interlinked short stories. It just doesn't work for me. Like I said, Friend, the final section of it was the most interesting because I feel like Olive had, she actually made an effort to connect with people and change, and there were a few others where she did that as well, but I don't know. I do not understand why this book got through to the second round. I don't. I would never want this to win. If this, I'm going on record right now saying that if this wins, then my taste and the BookTube Prize's taste is maybe too divergent. I don't know, but yeah. So I have read 2 books, and I would say right now Olive Again is my number 6. I am hoping that all the other books I read I like way more than Olive Again. A Woman is a Man Again I don't have a ranking for. So to give you a small update on what else is happening, this is the end of this vlog. I'm gonna have 2 books per vlog this time. So I have just started Colson Whitehead's The Nickel Boys. I started it on audio and was not a fan of the narrator, and so it was available on ebook, so from the library, so I switched from the audio to the ebook, and I'm much happier reading it that way. So that is the next one. So the next vlog will be definitely The Nickel Boys and probably Red at Bone, because I'm waiting to get that, and I'm hoping to get it in a week or 2. So I will end, The Nickel Boys is quite short. It's only 227 pages, so I should be able to get that one done fairly quickly. So thank you very much for watching this first vlog in round 2, and I will be back again soon with another vlog about the next 2 reads in the BookTube Prize. Have a great day.